Hi everyone, welcome back to Next Diecast. Today I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale 2004 Mini Cooper made by Maisto. This is a pretty solid model from Maisto. Currently you can get this model in a dark green, as well as I believe a dark red and I think a dark blue as well. Maisto's been making this model for at least the past like 15 years. They've actually produced both the 2001 and the 2004 versions of the Mini Cooper. The 2004 version has the sunroof, like this one here. And the 2001 version just has the flat white roof, and I don't think it has an antenna on it either. But they've been making them for so long that in terms of prices, you're going to get it for anywhere between like $20 and up to maybe even like $40, $45, depending on where you get it from. My parents got this for me at BJ's years ago. I think when the model first came out in 2003 or 2004. So I've had this for quite a long time. And it shows it's a little bit banged up in some areas here and there, but it's held up pretty well with, me playing with it as like a little kid and everything. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the details here. We'll start up here with the headlights. Maisto did a fairly good job with the headlights of the Mini. There are a couple of pegs. You can see one there and one up there, but from a distance you can't really tell that they're there. And this white up here, that used to be chrome, but because of the car's age, and I guess from me playing with it all the time, the chrome kind of wore off. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine with Maistos, is that their chrome quality isn't the best. But the grill actually held up pretty well in terms of its chrome. And the grill, that's actually perforated. It's not just like a flat, solid piece. You can see right through it into the engine, which is a really, really cool touch. A lot of times Maisto won't do like full-on grills. This lower grill here, on the other hand, is a bit cheap looking. It's just done in all chrome. I think it's supposed to be black in terms of like a black mesh look, but they just did it in a chrome piece. On the other hand, though, these fog lights here are actually separate plastic pieces. A lot of times Maisto will just paint on their fog lights or turn signals, but on the Mini here, they did them as separate pieces. And they look really good, especially when you look at them up close. A little bit of a paint chip right there, I guess, from playing with it. This logo up here you can see is actually just a sticker, and it's starting to kind of peel off in the corners. A little bit disappointing, but again, that's probably due to the model's age. So if you get a new unopened version of this model, your logo will probably be fine. Just be careful with touching it, and when you clean the model, don't rub it too much because it might begin to peel off like you're seeing here. Paint quality on the model, I would say, is definitely flawless. They did a really good job with this solid gold color. And it's actually called solid gold on the real Cooper. They made it, I think, from when this model became available in like 2002 up until 2006 before they switched over to the second generation. This roof up here is actually all plastic, as you can tell. But in terms of the paint, you can't tell that it's a plastic piece because they use the same kind of metallic paint that they use on the metal portions of the car. So it's very hard to tell. And when you pick up the car, it's very solid. Even the plastic portions of the roof are very solid. They did a good job with this moonroof up here, or sunroof, depending on what it should be called. They did like a darker glass on it instead of like a clear glass. This antenna back here is a little bit loose and it might break easily if you touch it too much, or if it like gets bent. The detail on the mirrors is fairly well done, I would say. This one's just a little bit warped, again, because this is an older model and I played with it as a kid. But they did a nice job with like the black plastic and everything. They're not the most solid things in the world. You can see that they're bending a little bit, but it would actually take a lot of pressure to actually bend them and break them off. But just be careful with those. Detailing on the wheels, I think Maisto did a really good job with detailing these pretty simple looking 5-spoke rims here. There is good detailing on the brake discs and calipers. The brake discs don't move with the wheels, but that's the case with most Maisto models anyway. But the detail is there. And this model, of course, does have full suspension on all 4 wheels, as well as full steering, which is a nice touch. There's a little vent on either side of the fender, it looks like. That's actually a separate piece. And they also do the turn signal as a separate piece, but it's a nice touch. Moving along to the back, you can see that this Mini logo up here is also a sticker, much like the front, but this one hasn't bent yet, I guess because I've been more careful to the back than I have with the front. And this kind of illustrates the chrome fading that Maistos suffer from as they age. You can see that It used to be chrome like this portion here, but it started to kind of fade to white, I guess, with, you know, sun exposure and whatnot. This line down here, that's how it should have looked, I guess. That's how it did look when it was new. But over the years, the chrome's just kind of faded. So to avoid that, I would say don't touch the chrome portions of the car too much. This is for any Maisto model that has chrome on it. And when you clean it, make sure you don't use anything that's wet. Just try to clean it with like a dry microfiber cloth. They did a good job with this lower rear backup light here. That's actually a separate plastic piece, which is a nice touch. Because this is like a European version. In this case, this is a German Mini Cooper, because BMW owns Mini currently, and when they started building the Mini Cooper in 2002, they've been built in Germany ever since then. But anyway, yeah. Not sure what region of Germany this is supposed to be from. I know that the first two letters indicate what region it's from. So if it was S, it would be Stuttgart, M would be from Munich, and so on and so forth. In terms of the taillights, they're also nicely detailed. There's just a little bit of a big gap between this taillight and the metal body, which is kind of annoying. This one, the gap isn't so prevalent, but it is a little bit loose though. But again, from a distance, you can't really tell that there's a big deal or a big issue there. The exhaust pipe kind of looks very small. I don't know if it's supposed to be that small on the real car or not, but it's completely chromed out, as is the case with most Maisto exhaust systems. Not very well detailed, but then again, this is a $25 model, so you can't ask for perfection. In terms of opening features, let's start back here with the rear hatch, which opens up to the trunk. Not too much detailing on the trunk back here. There was kind of a nice texture with this privacy screen up here. Not much to see in here, but I think they did a good job with the depth and everything, and the dimensions of the trunk. And the underside of the hatch door actually does have a plastic liner. Sometimes Maisto will just leave it as like a bare metal, but this one they actually put in the liner that would be on the real one. Moving along to the engine. I like how the whole thing opens, like with the headlights and grille and everything. Engine detail, I would say, is fairly well done. It's not just one plastic piece, it's a couple plastic pieces, and everything is colored in properly. And you can actually see the radiator in here too, which Maisto doesn't usually do a separate piece for the radiator, but on this one they did. You can see it says Mini, and you can see that there's the 4 cylinders right there, because this is a 4-cylinder engine. The warning labels are in place. I apologize for how shaky the camera's getting. And overall, I think they did a good job with the engine detail. And they put in a black liner underneath the hood. A lot of times they'll just leave the hood as like a bare unpainted metal, but this one they actually put in that liner, which is a nice extra detail. Let's go ahead and close that up. Move on to the interior. This interior is very well done, especially for a Maisto model. So we'll start with the detailing on the door panels. Maisto did a pretty good job with the differing textures on the door panels. You can see that this gray right here is a kind of a rough texture. This is kind of like a leather pattern and like a leather texture on it. And they did a nice job with this brushed aluminum look here. And these doors actually have true like door pockets in them. You can see I can actually fit my finger in there. They aren't just like a solid panel piece, which is a really, I think, unique feature. A lot of times Maisto will just have like one mold for the whole door panel, but I think this silver piece here, that's actually a separate piece, I believe, on either side, which is a really cool touch. The seats look and feel like they're made of like the leather material that the seats in the real car have. Very nice touch. I really love the two-tone gray and black look, especially with this gold color. It really does look fantastic. Maisto actually included it on the seat belts too. They're back here. They're kind of hard to see. But that's not really common for older models. They don't usually include the seat belts. Detailing on the back seat, even though it's kind of hard to see, is also very good. They put in the seat belt buckles and everything. They just did a really good job, I think, in terms of detail. On the dashboard, you can see that all the buttons in the center stack are separately painted and labeled, which is a very nice touch. You can actually read some of them too, which is cool. The dashboard has a nice leather pattern to it, and even the steering wheel too, you can see here has like the leather kind of feel and touch to it, which is a really, really cool detail. That big, all the gauges are just stickers, but that's how it is on pretty much all of the models that they make anyway, so that's really no big deal, as long as they don't fall off, or as long as they're not crooked too. But these look very good. There is a headliner. There's not much of one because you have that moonroof there, but Maisto actually did the outlines of the sun visors and of the mirror buttons too, which they don't usually do. A lot of times they'll kind of skip detailing on like the roofs of their models on the interiors, but on this one they actually went the extra mile and put in those details. There is a little bit of scratching up on the plastic roof here too. I forgot to mention. Undercarriage detail. Not much to see. They did the exhaust system in chrome, which they do a lot of times on their models. We have the mounting posts here for where they're actually a bit loose too. Yeah, very loose, I should say. Those are the mounting posts for when this model came in the box originally. It had like the screws in it or whatever. So that kind of, I guess, detracts from like the exhaust pipe detail. But then again, what matters is pretty much the interior and the exterior, not so much the underside or the undercarriage. Overall, I would say that this is a solid model for Maisto. Other budget brands have made the Mini Cooper as well. I believe Welly and Barago have both made the 2001 to 2006 variant of the Mini Cooper. The Barago version I wouldn't recommend because the whole entire center stack is just a big sticker, and I don't think the fit and finish is very good on it. The Welly version is actually pretty similar to the Maisto version. I think that one comes with side windows, I think. So it all comes down to, I guess, what your preference is in terms of colors and in terms of like model years and whatnot. I think Maisto is the only version that has like the full sunroof, and the other versions don't. But again, it all depends on what color you want and what's currently being made. But I would definitely recommend this Maisto version over the Welly and the Barago version. Okay, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.